This program is brought to you by the Center for a Sustainable Today. Our world is an amazing, complex living organism, and we coexist in a symbiotic relationship. With this great power comes a great responsibility, a responsibility to ensure the future by taking steps to be sustainable today.
I think we need serious, deliberative processes that are taking stock of what we have wrought as a humankind, why we have come to where we are today, doing real soul searching into us as human beings, as what it is. What have we created? Why have we created this? And what's the root cause, not the surface? It's important to deal with the surface, with all the programs to try to have, environmental protection of lands and restoration programs and all those kinds of things. But no one is saying, well, yeah, but what caused that? What consciousness caused that kind of destruction? And how did that consciousness get created? And by asking those questions, then maybe we can get to some of the solutions for ourselves. We shouldn't be out there studying environment. We should be studying ourselves.
And now, here is the host of Sustainable Today.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of Sustainable Today. I'm Sherry Steller.
And I'm Kaylin Lee. Today we are in the heart of downtown Portland, Oregon at the Portland Farmers Market, the largest in the metropolitan area.
This market is part of the urban infrastructure and is just one of the many things that makes Portland a model for sustainability.
We'll learn more about the market later on in our show, but first we'd like to introduce Portland State University. The campus surrounds this park where the market is. In fact, it occupies over 50 acres of some of the most urbanized portions of the city.
The university has a deep commitment to operating sustainably and has implemented numerous programs and projects to achieve this goal. This approach originates at the administrative level and includes faculty and staff, as well as student groups and individuals.
In our first segment, we take a look at the PSU approach as a model for sustainable cities and campuses. This segment explores projects and programs that PSU implements with an emphasis on the benefits that result.
Here's Tyler Gill with how Portland State University made sustainability academic.
So I've actually worked in the field of sustainable development since 1987, and I've reflected a lot on what does sustainability really mean. And to me, it really means taking a more integrated approach to both defining the kinds of challenges we're trying to address and coming up with solutions. And by integrated, I mean looking at the social impacts and aspects, the environmental impacts, and the economic impacts, and then looking for ways that we can really link those together and find approaches and strategies that can be beneficial on all those fronts. Great for the environment, great for our community, and good for our economy. Sustainability has been something we've been working on in terms of our operations for a really long time. And then recently, I think there's really been a shift toward truly taking a comprehensive look at the campus as a whole and seeing all the places where we can both integrate sustainability fundamentally into how we manage the campus, and also where there are opportunities, again, for innovation and leadership. We've really tried to push the envelope on that in terms of meeting those standards, going back about 12 years probably to when Epler Hall was built. And recently, some of our renovations have also met some of the highest LEED standards. And that's, again, in terms of looking at energy use, our eco roofs and stormwater management. So there's a lot that we're doing in terms of the built environment.
Portland State as an institution is so heavily focused on being a source of knowledge and assistance and support for the wider community. So we bring that into our work as far as having a lot of strong links with the community. I've got strong links with Portland's business community and with the sustainability community here, and those have been cultivated while doing my master's degree here over the last 2 years, and really working with them, identifying what challenges, opportunities and issues are going on, and then providing opportunities for students to gain some experience while they're learning in the classroom, out in the real world, and addressing real world problems that are going on.
The current director of an organization at PSU called Community Environmental Services. We are a research and service unit here at Portland State University. So we're a pretty unique organization in that we work entirely off of grants and project partnerships that we have across the region. And our main focus for our research and our service is in waste minimization, composting, recycling, programmatic sustainability, greenhouse gas inventories, and really we have an interesting model. Our entire organization is made up of Portland State University students. Right now I currently have 23 students on staff, and it's an interesting opportunity for the students because they can not only go to Portland State University and get their academic credit, but they can come and work for Community Environmental Services and actually get some real world, on the ground, sustainably focused work experience. We've been around since 1989, and our organization has really been the backbone of a lot of the innovation that's been happening in the region. From the multifamily recycling program development in 1989 to when the city of Portland wants to unroll their new residential composting program. CES was there first and foremost on the ground, collecting data for them, developing the pilot project, and really helping them develop these programs, and we've been doing that for a long time. So just in the region alone, our footprint has been pretty large.
I manage the campus sustainability office, and our primary function is really leading planning and policy efforts around operational sustainability. We also work to benchmark sustainability performance across campus. So that means doing things like a climate action plan or a greenhouse gas assessment annually, as well as a variety of other surveys that help us judge our performance in sustainability. My office also strives to educate the campus community on best practices around sustainability. I would say rather than looking at it as impossible or possible for academia to be sustainable, it's absolutely necessary. And an uneducated population simply isn't prepared to tackle the overwhelming challenges that we face right now. So a university serves as a platform for generating solutions and ideas and also piloting approaches. I mean, we're a community that's primed to be able to try new things where it's not as easy in other situations or contexts.
Wow, PSU is really making sustainability academic. There's definitely a lot we can learn about their approach to creating sustainable cities.
We can also learn a lot from what the Portland City government is doing. The government leads the way in advancing sustainability around the city.
That's right, Kaylin. In fact, there's an entire office dedicated to sustainability, as well as several other bureaus that focus on projects that create vibrant, sustainable communities.
That's right, and one of them is the Bureau of Environmental Services, which, in addition to other tasks, is responsible for creating green infrastructure to mitigate rainwater, pollution, and the urban heat island effect.
Jason Raschke met with a few of the key people responsible for the 1,300 facilities that are now in place around the city. Stay with us as he takes us on a short tour.
I think we're all a little bit familiar with gray infrastructure, pipes and bridges and roads, but what is green infrastructure? Well, as we have gotten more urbanized in our urban environments, we've put a whole lot of impervious surface down, and so water can't percolate and infiltrate down into the ground like it used to. Well, green infrastructure helps us to manage stormwater, so rain that falls down on the ground, more in the way that we used to be able to before we put all the impervious surface down. Some people feel a little bit like we shouldn't talk about trees as anything but their own spirits and their own beautiful things, but actually trees are so wonderful. They're workhorses. They work 24/7 for us, doing all sorts of what we call ecosystem services, or they provide environmental benefits. What is of interest to the Environmental Services Bureau, because we are responsible for stormwater in the city, stormwater management, is that trees act like sponges. They intercept stormwater as it falls down, rainwater as it falls down, but they also infiltrate that water down into the ground. So we get a job of work on both ends, with the tree helping us to keep stormwater off of our gray infrastructure systems. I work with the Watershed Revegetation Program in Environmental Services, specifically with the Urban Tree Canopy Program. And we exist to get trees planted and also to do outreach and education to help people we plant with to love their trees and help them to grow big, strong, beautiful, and live long lives so that they can manage lots and lots of stormwater. We have planted in the last 5 years 32,200 trees with our partners. We're super proud of that. How many trees will we plant? We hope at least that many more. We hope to continue to be a presence, planting trees and helping people to get trees planted and to take care of trees for the foreseeable future. Trees are a wonderful solution, but you can't always plant a tree somewhere. And in an urban environment, sometimes we have these enormous buildings with huge roofs. Eco-roof, genius solution, where you can't have a tree in the middle of the building, you can have an eco-roof.
Well, an eco-roof operates as a sustainable alternative to a conventional roof. Every time water hits that roof, it immediately has to find a place to go. And eventually that runoff finds its way to the streets and parking lots that have pollutants on them or are maybe higher temperatures. What an eco-roof does is it grabs that water and it holds on to it. And about half that water evaporates back into the air, and the other half leaves the roof at a slower rate. And that helps our pipe systems, that helps our stream systems. It's an all-around good tool to reduce the footprint of a building. There are a lot of reasons why. I mean, when you look at a place like this, it's just a beautiful thing to add to your building. And when you think about the skyline of the city, with that many different eco-roofs in the city, we're really bringing life to the skyline and changing the way that a building interacts with a watershed. I think when you look at the way that an ecosystem works, it's all about connectivity, it's all about tying together corridors, and the city works as a system. And what an eco-roof does is it actually turns an area that's normally without life on it, and it turns it into a resource. And we're also providing habitat for pollinators. We're also cooling the city, and we're also making the city less impervious. Less hardscape in the city means healthier city and healthier watersheds.
A rain garden is essentially a landscape depression made up of rock, soil, native plants where we pipe the roof water into. It creates a place for the water to be detained, treated, cleaned by the plants and soil, and then infiltrate into the ground. It also can be a significant landscape amenity to the site. BES's stormwater retrofit program works with private property owners to install green infrastructure projects, stormwater retrofit facilities. At the New Day School, we've installed 4 rain gardens that allow us to manage 4,000 square feet of the building behind me. It's all detained in the rain gardens and allowed to infiltrate in through the plants and soil. They also removed about 7,500 square feet of asphalt parking lot. It's now a garden and play area for the children. The ideas were just mimicking the natural system that was in place originally. The closer we can get to the natural system, the closer we are to a less expensive, more sustainable solution.
Well, we capture the water as it flows down the curb. So there's already a system in place. It was created many years ago when this neighborhood was built. We're just simply intercepting the water before it hits the inlet at the end of the street. So the water flows down the curb, in through an inlet, and then travels the distance of the facility. And if there's too much water, then it overflows out again and into the inlet. Most storms can be handled right here. And even if it does overflow, we still solve the major flooding issue. We're studying the habitat potential of these for pollinators and birds. But yes, we think that we're now beginning to study whether we can create corridors and maybe link together our Green Street facilities with our eco-roofs, with our natural areas, with all those different types of elements knitted together to help that habitat element get from one place to another. I think that it's sustainable in terms of, again, we're using the natural system to do the work. It's sustainable in that it involves community, and community comes together. We have a Green Street Steward program where we reach out to individuals and say, would you like to adopt this Green Street? It teaches a bigger lesson about what's important in our urban environment. So I think that these are sustainable, definitely.
As we mentioned earlier in this program, we're surrounded by the Portland Farmers Market. This market and the many others sprinkled throughout the metropolitan area are changing the way people shop for food.
They not only support local agriculture, but they also create a vibrant, connected community, similar in the ways many indigenous communities function. This supports sustainability in a very personal and direct way.
Christina James spoke with the organizers, vendors, and customers to find out how having this type of sensory experience enhances the livability and sustainability of the city.
Portland Farmers Market started in 1992 here in Portland. We're actually not at this location. This location is our Saturday at Portland State University. When we opened in 1992, we were down at the Broadway Bridge by the Albers Mill. This is our 22nd season, so we've been around for over 20 years. Many of our vendors have been with us for 20 years or more. So it's really, we've got a really solid foundation of the vendors that we work with the market.
So farmers markets seem to be popping up throughout several different neighborhoods. Why do you think popularity is increasing?
I think people definitely, over the last 7 and 10 years, people have just really started to embrace the eat local concept.
Wow.
The environmental impact of local is significantly less. Oregonians are really concerned about maintaining the natural beauty of the state, but also reinvesting in the agricultural economy, which is very local and very sustainable. We have really beautiful farming land in Oregon, and if we don't buy local, we'll be shipping in, and that farming land will be turned into something else. And so it's just a way to invest in the local economy, and also the produce is better when it's from farm to table. The faster that process is, the better it is for your body.
As locality in our economies, people are wanting a lot more of community, and there's so much more community in farmers markets. Shopping in a farmers market is so much more of a community engagement than you would be at the grocery store.
This is the place to get the good food. And there are certain places where certain markets that the only place you can come because it's the only place that the particular farmer brings their products.
Right.
The chili peppers people are here every fall and have to come back at least for some of their peppers.
I know, I can smell them from here. They smell wonderful.
Yeah.
So Viridian Farm specializes in growing produce that's from Spain and southern France. We have been farming for about 8 years. We have 38 acres south of Portland, close to Dayton, but we primarily sell at the farmers market and then sell to restaurants in Portland.
So tell us about the smokery.
Well, we started it about 12 years ago because we like to eat salmon, and everything I found out in the marketplace was either too salty or too dry. So I was always complaining. So my daughters got together one year and they bought me a smoker. And they said, "Dad, stop complaining, buy it, smoke it yourself." We buy the best quality wild salmon caught at sea with a hook and a line. We don't use salmon caught in from the rivers. We don't use salmon trapped in nets. So it's all caught at sea with a hook and a line, which is the most sustainable way of catching salmon. We use the best processes, best ingredients. We brine it for 24 hours and we dry it with paper towels, and then we air dry it for 24 hours, and then we smoke it for about 4 to 6 hours.
We've been regulars here since a couple of years after it started, and we also spent a lot of time at our neighborhood farmers market in Woodstock on Sundays.
So what is your guys' philosophy of the farmers market?
It's a grocery store. Yeah. It really is. It's our grocery store. We just come to the farmers market, spend a couple hours once a week, and we've done our shopping for the week pretty much. We can find just about everything that we need here. You can do, besides the fruits and vegetables, you can get bread.
Yeah.
Tortillas.
It looks like you've bought your week's worth of groceries here.
Yeah, we have. We've got our greens, we've got carrots, we've got lettuce and escarole and onions and dozen eggs and some salmon from the tribal fisherman guy who has the best salmon and the best price.
I think that farmers markets are here to stay. I think people so enjoy them. It can tend to be such a family affair. It can be something that everyone is really, has so much fun doing. It's way more exciting than going to the grocery store, as I mentioned. I think that aspect tied with the need for localizing our food economy, where our food that is grown in season, there's no reason that you should need to buy tomatoes shipped in from 1,500 miles or more. We have just incredible food right in our own backyard, so I think that isn't going to change. So we really hope that farmers market's popularity will continue.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a nice day.
You too.
Yeah, did you need an extra bag of paper wrap, or are you okay like that?
I think it's okay like this. Yeah,
right,
thanks. From the Portland Farmers Market, I'm Christina James, bringing you the tools to be sustainable today.
This is one of the things I truly love about the city. There are about 2 million people in and around Portland, but it still has the atmosphere of warmth and closeness that makes you feel like you're part of a close-knit society.
We've said many times that all people are connected to their place and the ecosystems that surround them. The urban ecosystem is no exception.
That's right, Sherry. But the market isn't the only place to get close to the land within the city. For our Eating Well segment, we'll visit a rooftop that is also the produce supplier for a popular restaurant.
You can't get much more fresh and local than that, even here at the farmer's market, although it does come close.
Well, I'm ready for lunch, so let's head over to the Noble Rot and get a close-up look at a truly innovative solution to urban living at its best.
Oh my gosh, this is so nice.
I know, I just love coming up here, any excuse that I have.
I'm Megan Goby. We are here today with Leather Stores on the rooftop of Noble Rot, a sustainable eatery and wine bar here in Portland, Oregon.
And Megan, I'm glad you're here. Noble Rot started about 12 years ago over on 28th and Ankeny. We moved into this location 3 years ago. We kept the garden going with Noble Rot and have been adding to it every year.
I know that you guys form your menu with the seasons and what's available.
Right.
Could you tell me what you have growing right now?
We have, sure. Right now, as we're sort of winding down, we have quite a few of the mustards that we always grow, and that includes some Asian mustards, komatsuna, which is a purple kind of shovel-shaped mustard. We'll be planting garlic and shallots very soon for next spring. We do have a number of things that'll overwinter. The biggest problem with gardening here in the winter, of course, is climbing out of that hatch and dealing with this awful weather. Leeks, peas, all sorts of herbs. I have a Meyer lemon tree. My bees, I guess you could say, they're growing. Our rhubarb, for whatever reason, is remarkable, bionic. I'll come up in the morning and pick some, and I'll come up the next day, and there are shoots that have taken its place. And so whenever I come up and look at the rhubarb, I'm thinking, we feel like this garden is a way for Noble Rot to be cutting edge, to be interesting to consumers. And the concept that keeps coming back to me and the benefit of this restaurant that I did not expect is that my cooks are more familiar with vegetables, more familiar with the cycle of the seasons, and most importantly, they understand how difficult it is to bring something from a seed to the kitchen.
Could you maybe show us how you can incorporate your garden into an item on your menu?
You bet. Let's you and I walk around. I'll get some scissors and we'll do it.
All right, impress me, Leather. Show me what you got up here.
All right, right now, these are very unusual yellow snow pea. And I want you to pick about 5 or 6 of those, and then you can see the purple flowers.
Yes.
About the same amount of those. Just snip them off with your fingernail. Yeah. So there's a few of those, and let's get one more, and then let's just turn straight around, and you'll see also peas. So here we have some beautiful flat leaf Italian parsley.
Ooh.
You know, why not? It's right here. It's not gonna make it worse. Get a little of that, and then come on this way. There's one more vegetable that I wanna grab, or one more herb, excuse me, right down here. This is tarragon. I said one, and then I stopped when I saw this. This is called sorrel, and it's a very, very sharp, kind of lemony herb. Take a little bite of that. You'll get the pucker from it. It is full of what's called oxalic acid, which gives it that sour quality. Wait a second, then it'll kick in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of gets your saliva going. And it really, really kind of puckers your mouth up.
Yeah, it's very lemony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so if it goes together, grows together. So right there is a little bit of mint. And mint and peas are very fond of one another. So let's throw that in there too. And I feel like that's probably good.
Got a nice little setup here.
They're kind of farmy. We're sitting on the hay bale and some 2x6s. What we'll do here is dump all that stuff out, and I'm gonna have you do a little tiny bit of preparation right back into the bowl. The peas you can see here have that little connector where they were attached to the plant. Snap that connector and pull it down, and ideally a string will come with it. Yeah, good, and then just throw it in there. And it's kind of fun. It makes you think a little bit differently about a plant if you see it in all its available permutations. I'm gonna just yank the petals off of these flowers. Mint just pick little leaves. I need about 8, throw them in there. And then I've got that parsley, and I'm just gonna grab a couple little small leaves of that too. Here's that sorrel, that sharp, acidic thing, and we're gonna do what's called a chiffonade. And what you do there is you roll it up, kind of like a cigar, put it on the board, and then what happens when we unroll them is we have a julienne. One more, because I like that flavor. A little tiny bit of olive oil, tiny bit of salt. One grind here, and just a bit of lemon juice. Toss, toss, toss. Don't beat it up, because all that acid will break those flowers down immediately. I'm just gonna lay down a little olive oil on this cute rectangular plate so they stick. And then we're gonna kind of walk these things down the plate. You know, you eat with your eyes, you eat with your nose, you eat with your eyes, and if you've decided something is delicious before you eat it, well then, you know, half my job is done. Pick that up, pick up a pinch with your hands and eat it.
Wow. There's so much flavor. Kind of more.
Let's have it all.
I can really taste the tarragon and the mint.
Yeah.
Thank you, Leather, for showing us your business. It's so cool that you've been able to create your vision of a sustainable eatery and wine bar.
Thank you.
It's clear that at Noble Rot we'll be eating well. I am Megan Govey, bringing you the tools to be sustainable today.
Thank you for watching our program about Portland as a model for sustainability.
It's truly remarkable, Sherry, but as you know, this didn't just happen overnight. This took years of planning and some serious looks back at historical examples of community building.
Next month, we'll focus our attention back to the future, so to speak, with a program on the Kathapotli Longhouse and Native traditions, this time with an emphasis on spirituality and reverence for the land. We'll see how the preservation of indigenous knowledge can help lead to more sustainable today.
Next, we visit the salmon welcoming ceremony at Celilo Falls. This is an example of how tribes can band together, pool resources, and celebrate the coming of another fishing season.
Native Americans are not the only indigenous culture we have the opportunity to learn from. When it comes to natural resources, in this case mushrooms, we dug up some knowledge that can yield some unexpected results.
And of course, we'll get to sample those delectable delights when Eating Well shows us how to cook them up and eat them.
As always, we'll bring it all together with another Hidden Connection segment with Jason Rashke.
So tune in next month when we'll examine the preservation of indigenous knowledge at the Kathapotli Longhouse.
Don't forget to check out our website at sustainabletoday.org for more on these stories, helpful hints, and behind-the-scenes look from our production company.
Thanks for watching, and see you next month when we'll bring you more tools to be sustainable today.